welcome to the Press Preps Roundtable. I am Tony Neely, joined by Scott Springer and Nick Dukovic and James Weber from Kentucky. Today we're doing something different. We're discussing the NCAA tournament. Now, I don't know about you guys, I was watching the selection show Sunday night, and I saw the first region unveiled, which was the East region, the Ohio State region, and as soon as that region had been completed in terms of the announcements, without even seeing the other three regions, my first thought was, is this Jim Tressel's punishment? I mean, I could not believe how stacked that region is. I mean, look at this. We've got North Carolina, which was the regular season ACC champion. We've got UK, which was the SEC tournament champion. We've got Syracuse, which is an upper echelon, top 3 or 4 Big East team. Xavier's been to about, I think, 3 Sweet 16s in a row. Before the tournament, George Mason was a popular dark horse pick. This region is absolutely loaded. And last night on ESPN, I saw a poll asking which region is the toughest. 60% said the East region, and my first thought was, what's the other 40% smoking? I think this region is just absolutely loaded. What do you guys think about this?
I don't know if they have any rhyme or reason about where people go, and I don't know. I mean, I'd love to sit in there and be part of the committee to find out why people get to, why does Xavier get to go to Cleveland? They're a 6th seed. That's a pretty good deal for them. It's a better deal for the Buckeyes. They're in Cleveland. That's 2 home games, essentially. So it'll be tough for them, but I think Ohio State goes on out. Now, if you want me to say how far they go on out, I think Syracuse is going to get them at some point, which won't endear me to Buckeye fans, but I apologize.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's nice that Ohio State's playing at home those first couple games, but you got to figure they're going to beat the playing team no matter where they play. They're probably going to beat George Mason Villanova. But, you know, worst case scenario, you're looking at Ohio State having to beat Kentucky, either Syracuse and UNC, and possibly down the road, Duke and Kansas. I mean, basically the top 4 programs in college basketball history to win a title.
Beat the 4 most historic programs.
The answer is always money. Everyone knows Ohio State-Kentucky is a huge matchup. Who's not going to watch that?
When you guys were talking about before, you got to like Ohio State playing at Quicken Loans Arena. This could be a huge advantage. That place is going to be a sea of red up in Cleveland. Bucks escaped the first 2 rounds easily, and they get to the Final Four. You heard it here first.
And what about can Kentucky beat Ohio State? I mean, Kentucky's young, but Calipari's gotten great talent.
They're talented. I mean,
yeah. They're young and talented, but I think Ohio State is a little too much for them. I mean,
first off, Kentucky will probably have to beat West Virginia, the way I have it, and they couldn't do that last year.
Well, here's my thing. I mean, for the second year in a row, you could make the case that Duke was somewhat fortunate to get a #1 seed, and in my opinion, for the second year in a row, they've got by far the easiest path to the Final Four. I mean, I'm not trying to knock San Diego State,
Coach K.
They got the mid-major #2, and they also have Texas, who's been slumping, and they also have, Connecticut, who's dead tired. A couple years ago.
Right, that's an easy way out.
Yeah.
The only difference is San Diego State will get to play in California. Cause
they will.
Yeah, they get 2 rounds there, so that's a plus for them. No one knows anything about the Aztecs other than Steve Fisher is there, and he coached the Fab Five.
That's all.
And the Fab Five got a special because they cheated. But, you know, you reward people for being freaks and cheating because you get on TV that way.
But look, UConn is now the sexy pick. We saw 5 years ago with Syracuse. They were a bubble team, and then they won 4 games in a row in 4 days with Jerry McNamara. And then I think that they flaked out in the first round of the tournament, or second round. I mean, that takes a lot out of you. And for Duke to get that #1 seed, which, I mean, the ACC was weak this year. So for them to get, and they didn't even win the regular season title. So for them to get that, and they got the mid-major #2 with slumping Texas, a tired UConn, I don't understand why Duke gets this preferential treatment for the second year in a row when their resume didn't quite warrant it. And Kyrie Irving's not even there. I mean, BYU was, I know BYU lost in the conference tournament, but I mean, they were a possible 1 seed a week ago. They lose their player who was suspended, and they fall down to a 3 seed with 2 losses. I mean, why wasn't it taken into consideration that Duke is a different team without Kyrie Irving? I don't understand that.
Reputation works for them like no other team in college basketball.
Yeah.
It's like you made a great point, Tony, but the Big Ten and the Big East, the top 2 teams with the most teams. And I don't even think the ACC was 3rd. I'd have to check on that, but I think they may have been.
I mean, 11 teams
for the Big East,
ridiculous. I mean, they had the previous record was 8. They got 11. You know, awesome.
I will say this though: some people think that Pitt has a pretty easy path. That region has a lot of bracket busters. I mean, obviously we saw what Butler did last year. They're kind of a wild card. K-State with Jacob Poulin, they're a wild card. BYU, I mean, how far can Jimmer Fredette take them? Belmont's a sexy dark horse pick. Wisconsin plays great defense. They lead the country in free throw shooting, don't turn the ball over, but they can't score. So there's a lot of teams in that region.
Gonzaga too.
Yeah, and
they're not a secret anymore.
Yeah, Florida's seeded 2 highest too, but the rest of that region, it's like you said, a lot of spoilers there.
Should Notre Dame have had a 1 seed?
I think they should have. I mean, they had 11 wins against teams in the top 50 or something of that nature. I know they didn't do all that well in the Big East tournament, but they did finish second in the regular season. I don't know about you guys. I put more emphasis on the regular season title than the tournament title. That's 2 months of consideration, whereas the tournament title, that's 4 days. Anybody can get hot in 4 days, but Notre Dame was consistent for much of the year. And they got the Big East Player of the Year, Ben Hansbrough. I thought they deserved that #1 slot over Duke, and Duke should have been the first overall number 2 seed.
Well, I want to add on to the Southeast region too. I really like Michigan State. I know 14 losses during the regular season. It doesn't look pretty. It's amazing they got in at the tournament, but they got in. And I think this is a team. Remember they were the #2 ranked team in the preseason. This is a team that when they feel like it, they can play with anybody. But when they don't, they can get blown out by anybody too.
I had Michigan State in the Sweet 16, which may be a bit generous, but I mean they still have Kalen Lucas, Terrell Summers, those guys. I heard that Corey Lucius is off the team, but obviously Tom Izzo has been there before. I think they have Sweet 16 potential. But I mean, who do you guys have in the Final Four? Just in the title game, or
Kansas and Pitt, and the Syracuse against Duke. Jayhawks take it all. Rock chalk Jayhawk.
They certainly have a pretty easy path to the Elite Eight, but we'll see what happens after that for Kansas. James, who do you got?
I haven't narrowed down exactly which 4, but you can always go pretty safe. At least 2 #1s and maybe a couple 2s or a 2 and a 3. I haven't narrowed down my picks, but I don't see any big, real upset runs getting that far.
Gotcha.
I am not going out on a limb. I got Ohio State, I got Duke, I got Pittsburgh, but in the Southwest, I got Notre Dame going, and I hope Notre Dame crushes Akron because they beat my Penn State Golden Flash.
As far as the title game goes, I've got Ohio State and Kansas. I think it's a much safer route for Kansas to make it before Ohio State. I think OSU's the best team. I'm not sure if they're going to win it, but if they do, I think they're definitely going to have earned it, facing, barring upsets, the teams that they're going to have to beat. But let us know what you guys think, and we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. Thank you.